I'm sorry, did I hear?
Rebecca, sorry,
Okay,
I'm
great, great, great.
unclear as
No,
far
that's cool. I want to get everybody's name.
as
Yeah, and I will, you guys, yeah, just to say you very, very poignant timing to make that pause. I was like, keep going, Rebecca. Yeah, I'm excited to jam on this together. I think you guys we're gonna enjoy this
um,
chat.
so we are completely rethinking our model.
Hmm.
We are looking at doing direct delivery to entrepreneurs. We're building a new program right now to help them pivot, essentially, rethink
Sure.
what their business models are right now in light of what's going on. The working name for the new program is Rebuild. So my primary role in the company is to build the programs and all the supports and deployment around that.
Sure.
So I build the trainings and as well as the tools themselves. Um, the content of it. Tiana builds the other side of it, which is she'll tell you what all that is.
Cool.
So that's why we're looking as we're doing virtual delivery. We'll still probably have print pieces. We do everything live. There's nothing pre-recorded. We still feel like it's really important to have that, even if it's virtually face-to-face, that in-person human interaction. So everything will still be live facilitated, but we are looking at platforms to support the whole sign up and management of all the programs.
Right. We do both. We have
Yeah,
integrated live video. Yeah. So, I mean, yep. Keep going.
yeah. So those are some of the things we're looking at right now. We're trying to move pretty fast as well. So the more functionality already built in, the better.
Yeah.
We also have a very strong sense of user experience and how we like people to participate in our stuff.
Good.
So Tiana will talk more about that.
I'm curious, that's awesome recap. Yep, this is why we design our platform. It focuses entirely on the kind of work you guys do.
And the other half of that, I should say, is it's also data collection is really important to
Yeah,
us.
we capture all of that. Yep, but we don't want to understand what. Yeah,
surveys to ongoing, like that's one of our biggest pain points as a company is we know the importance of it and we've struggled to do it.
you're giving me so many juicy things to talk about. I'm trying to see if I can remember everything by
Taking
memory.
notes, Jer. I'm
I
writing
know
down
I'm
notes.
taking mental notes. You'll tell me if I forget anything. But I'm like yeah. Anyway, yeah. So data is important. I think that's you. Listen, you can disintermediate for geography, time. You can collect data in ways you can't do in person. You're saving trees. I mean, there's a lot of cool things. I get it. Listen, Lana and I, my whole team, we're all trainers. You guys caught the right people. I happen to be the co-founder and CEO. Doing
I'm
a
the
lot.
co-founder of ours too.
Woohoo! So it's cool. So we're like I have more time to do these things because we're at home, which is awesome. I really enjoy this process, and we're recalibrating a little bit. We're getting busier, as you can imagine, but we were hyper focused on sort of a couple of sectors recently. And we're recalibrating to open our lens up. You guys kind of fall in our sweet spot, actually, so you're not outside of the fray. But we used to do wellness, for instance. We have a lot of wellness people coming to us again, wanting to do their programs, and we hadn't gone actively after them, but we still believe in that kind of impact that we're sort of opening our gates up to them again, just to support them. But yeah, how many people do you serve? How many entrepreneurs do you serve?
Through our partner organizations, we're doing about 3,000 annually right now.
Great.
Through the partner deployment, but we've got some potential partnerships on this thing that might be like 10,000.
Okay.
So we're anywhere from between 3 to 10,000.
Okay.
And I want to talk about that a little bit too, is in the sense of like we have our original model, our original business model where we work through different communities to kind of do this, and it's always been in person. This is kind of an opportunity that we're looking at to say, okay, we've known that we also need to engage the entrepreneur themselves because we don't have actually that connection point with them right now. We have like their data, like emails and names, and even that has been a little bit wonky just because we haven't found the best system to get into. However, with this is that we are also learning through this process of what works best. And so we're looking to work with people that can adapt with us as well to make sure that we can support not only the entrepreneurs, but the communities themselves, right? So in essence, can we be, if we have communities that want to license our program and go virtually as well, with using their own people within their community that are trusted, can we be a kind of a holding of different
Yes. We can. I mean, literally, yeah, you guys, Yeah, there's so many juicy things we could talk about that you keep bringing up. So just to that point, Jose, absolutely, this is exciting. I do want to bring up a total like sort of left field thing that my co-founder Josh, the company he started before GMCD, which is it's 10 years ago because GMCD is over 7 years old, but was called MReduce, and it was an online incubator for startups. Where they each week would share reflections with each other and learn together by practicing and showing what they were working on, giving each other feedback, and having mentors and investors could come in. And there's a ton, they had 4,000 throughout the world. And Josh and I and Lana have each worked with entrepreneurs. It's like a big passion point for us. And we don't have a lot of these projects and nothing like what you guys are doing on the platform. So pretty thrilling to talk about this stuff because it's like, I've coached hackathons. I've been a startup founder 3 times over and an advisor to multiple startups, to organizations that, to do internships for startups, you name it. So we really love the kind of work and think it's so vital, obviously, as entrepreneurs ourselves too. So Lana wrote a book called A 90-Day Planner for Startups, and list goes on. Just to say,
we've got a 90-day planning program called Roadmap.
Oh, then you guys will want to hook up. So Lana is the director of our Learning, Design, and Communities of Practice. And so to your point, a bunch of points, and then I'll take a pause, sorry.
Tiana's got to introduce
herself. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I just wanted to tag up what Jose was saying. There's things that we do to make the system so flexible that I'll show you, Jose, that teachable think of it, just don't. Those platforms which I'll share with you, they're all about, their whole persona is about, and brand is about, very passive sort of content dissemination. That's it. And we're on the other side of the spectrum. Like we do all of that, but in a way that's very interactive and engaging to the level you want, to the flexibility you want. You even can create a holding, as you said, sort of group, like a mother group, where you could have little groups under that can sell their own things and create their own communities that are selling, creating, not just from a sales standpoint, obviously from an impact standpoint first, which is always where our hearts are, but they can monetize it as well, Jose. So you can do those kind of things. I'll stop. I'll show you some of that stuff because I want Tiana to kind of jump in too. Please.
Okay, well, I'm creative director, but really I do a lot of things from content to design to all of our web stuff at the moment. So I'm really interested, and we've never created a product digital first before. And even though there will be some print components still, we're trying to think through, that's definitely an opportunity here for us to not just make something work on a digital platform, but really design it for that experience.
Love that.
So that's kind of my perspective right now, is figuring out how we can, what we're creating right now from a product standpoint, we can create with the end goal in mind.
That's great. And so not only you open, but I was going to ask you that, you just took a question that I had in my head, which was, are you amicable to rethinking, reimagining some of what you do, knowing that, am I too loud? Oh, sorry. My daughter, one of my daughters is napping and I get a little
Oh, we know. Tiana
loud,
both have 4-year-old twins.
Yeah, we have.
Wait, you guys both have 4-year-old twins?
Yeah. They're
Oh my God. I have a 4.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So girls.
Oh, 1-year-old.
Jose's got 2 under.
Jose's got that. He's got the
3 and a 1.
So we're close, my man. Where are you guys located, by the way?
Chattanooga, Tennessee. We had tornadoes last night.
Oh my God.
Go back to, do you guys mind if we record this? Our marketing
It's
manager.
already
recording. It's recording. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's recording.
Yeah, Carrie couldn't make it because of tornadoes last night and no electricity.
No worries. Good. Well, I hope you guys are okay with everything else going on. I did sort of see the tornadoes. I didn't know where, but yeah, geez. We're getting the rain side of it here for sure. But
where
not
are you guys?
So I'm outside of New York City. That's outside my window. But Lana can tell you where
I'm based in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And I now just realized, so you got connected through Faye?
Yes.
From Forward Cities. So I'm part of a learning journey with her for the community canvas.
Okay.
That's how I got connected through Forward Cities. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Lana, do you want to jump in, or Tiana, did you have other things you wanted to share first, or should?
No, that was pretty much it. I'll primarily be responsible for helping what Rebecca's creating from a program flow and content standpoint, making that work well digitally, and then also creating all the brand look and feel, et cetera, experience.
Yeah. So we've geared up, guys, and I know there's immediacy here. I just want to start the conversation before Lana introduces, before I forget. We are geared up with our team to support you and move with you, okay? So if you needed to move like next week or something, we can do that. And And furthermore, our model is predicated in a way where Josh and I always wanted the model to grow, where we created trusting partnerships over time. So we did not take on large, huge sums of funding. We kept our dream and vision such that we could hold on to our values, and they're all over our site even. We just updated it recently. And it's what, we have partnerships with some clients of 5 years, and they've grown their work so that it touches everything they do eventually, which is really powerful. And so we can work with you to flex our time to support you. We have like 77 combined years, I think, in digital and blended learning and training design, both, in person, blended, online, with other platforms, and obviously our own. And we have 50 some odd clients, that now and more total, but that we've learned best practices from that we can apply to you guys. I think multiple people asked that earlier. So that is an essential and a explicit part of our process, is that we don't just say, here's your SaaS platform. And again, I'm not trying to disparage Teachable. I mean, they probably have some good marketing tools and stuff, and I know them, I've used them, but it's just not, it's like, it's very much rooted out of like what Blackboard was, but a slightly better version, which was really just about content dissemination. It's just a different, our take is that the market did not move forward, and we started from scratch with a very different outlook, research-based, human-centered, all that. But let me let Lana speak. I just wanted to let you know, because a couple of big picture things, and let me let Lana share what she does, because that's exciting to hear, and then I can jump in.
Hi, everyone. So like what I said, I'm based in the Netherlands, and I've been with Dreams Edu for 24 years now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's not like you said 24, but it seems like that because you're so awesome. But I think it's been 4. Yeah, I think it's been 4.
And I like what Jeremy said. I handle the learning and community design for Dreams Edu clients, and basically, what we look at is really engagement. How might we design online learning programs that are probably like hybrid or asynchronous type of programs, and make it beneficial for those that that our community partners are serving. So we do envisioning exercises and designing sessions as well for those who would need to get started in the platform, and also to reevaluate how they can do online learning. So like what Jeremy mentioned, we have such a vast experience. I've been doing curriculum design for more than 2 decades already, and have helped put up schools and facilitation work. So the field of online education is something that I've been merging in the different works that I've been doing. And right now for us, especially with Dreams Edu, what we see is how can we design engaging learning processes or even learning communities. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about creating communities of practice. And yeah, that's part of what I do for Dreams Edu.
Thanks, Lana. And she's being modest. She also teaches around the world around setting up communities of practice, but I'll speak for her. And has kicked off something that I helped a little bit with in creating sort of pillars of the folks on Dreams Edu, the types of communities that congregate, which are communities of inquiry, communities of practice, communities of belonging, communities of change. We had to take a bit of a pause in some of the stuff we were writing, an ebook and everything, to kind of take on some more clients and such, which is cool. But yeah, anyway, it's exciting. So I want to be a constant of time, make sure I can cover things. Great to meet you guys. Let me just jump in. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dreams Edu, and my background's pretty varied. I was a music producer at one point. I'm a musician. I then got into education, consulting with digital transformation for organizations like library systems, community organizations like yours that work in entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth, a big depth and breadth of that. And so I think several years ago, we realized we were getting these ad hoc requests from folks to say, oh, we kind of need a little bit of help designing this or that, or can you help us model? And we just started doing it. And then we're like, we charged a little bit just to cover our time. And then we said, oh, wait, this drives value for people, and people are asking more. So we made it part of our offering. And you can see on our homepage now, there's like 4 distinct buckets of things we do. And again, it's, we move with you. It's all based on need. If you're more of a DIY organization, we have, robust knowledge base and like YouTube videos about how to use a site. But we have found that with our relationships that have grown over the years is that when you have your expertise and, the things you do so beautifully, that if we can help you translate that, at least in the beginning, what Lana would do would be like co-train, kind of train you guys in the platform in parallel to helping create like a template, for instance, that you could then clone in one click. which I'll show you what that looks like. And so you're embedding competencies such that you can kind of fly whenever you're ready. And so we can flex that time. And we also can make some integrations. We have a lot of white labeling to begin with, but we can deepen and deepen that. I think, Tiana, probably what you're looking at over time. We always say, like, let's sort of start simple and do improvement science kind of experiments. We don't want to like try to do too much at first just to see what works, both from a feature function standpoint and from an integration, but we're there to help you grow into that as quickly as you'd like. But we try to like set boundaries too, to help you understand where we think from what we've learned can be useful. And so what's exciting to me when I'm hearing and reflecting on what you guys are saying is I could talk a lot more about what we care about, but I'll do that in context of the demo, if that's cool for you guys, is that you want to do things live, which we can do. So like, the point of GMCD is to have different ways of having both asynchronous to live engagement. And we have deep integrations around that with Zoom, but we also have a lot of native features for that. And we do collect all that data, which is great. And we also are very receptive. We have this human-centered design approach such that we even co-design some features as part of like, relationships with certain folks when they're ready or when they have a need. Like, oh, we have like 85, 90% of what we need, Jeremy, but we'd love to have this little tweak or refinement to a feature. And we can do that because, again, our thesis around this is that, it's really around this professional training. Our focus is really central to the kinds of things you guys do. And so because we use a human-centered design approach, we're literally only deploying features that we're asking people questions, you need this, and people are sharing the kinds of things they need. And there's a lot of similarity, but there's some, fine tune. So we find when people join GMC 85 to 90% of what they need is covered, which is a lot, guys. Like you'll probably get like 40% coverage on a platform like Teachable, to be honest, if you wanted to cover all the things you want to do, if that. Because what Josh and I found, as I said earlier, when we started GMCD, was the landscape of LMSs was just very linear, flat, and passive. You can watch a video, you can look at a PDF, you can hit next, I'm done, and move on. But it was dissociated almost, like if you had a discussion board, it was off to the side and never used. And our feeling was like, now, like these workshops that these powerful organizations we're working with are doing that want to make impacts, they need more intuitive features. They need things that are going to really create engagement in the flexible ways that they want. And so we started the DNA of GMCD very differently. And really, we actually started with this thing called the narrative path, which I can show you. I think it's important because you guys have this sense of community. I typically don't go to that first because it's not it's the essence and the heartbeat of GMCD because we're all humans on this planet doing some kind of work together. You guys can raise your hand and say, yeah, we want to see that, or wait till later. The core of the work is obviously the workshop. So I kind of usually go there first. But the heartbeat is really around who we are because people are interacting on GMCD as well, which I think for your work is super powerful. I'm sorry, my wood floors, and I got this new chair and it keeps rolling on me. So I'm like flying all over the place. I need to put like a pillow behind me. I'm sorry for making you dizzy. So maybe if you remind me, guys, I can show you the narrative path at the end and we can kind of dig into some of the sort of like, okay, not deeper stuff. I will only show you, obviously, because we have limited time today. I have a little bit more time. How much time did we say we had together? Was it 45 minutes? Or let me ask you guys, when I'm okay. This is a slower day for me. I have more follow-up stuff to do and some design work. But when did you guys have until from a hard stop so I know so I can try to plan accordingly?
I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock. I've got my ops team meeting.
Okay, so I'll jam as quickly as I can. I will try to only cover things that are salient and different. Clearly, we have white label branding. I talked about that earlier. Colors, the name, logo, things like that. But what we took it a step further is we literally can add or remove features for you. And so we have this context of group. And so that is basically the container where people are learning and sharing resources and all the engagement happens. So you can, to the point earlier, you can have your own groups. I could imagine having a group for a deeper training, a group more for consumer facing, a group for certain clients. You could then even have a group where you have your sort of school, your container for that, Jose, what you brought up earlier, and then subgroups of that. So you can have all different kinds of group containers. And part of what we do is help to think about that model. Like you could share your learning objectives, your overall sort of like impact and revenue objectives. And we can help you think about how to model that. And then zoom into the learning design to kind of work with folks like Tiana and Rebecca on how programmatically we can reimagine that piece. But what that does is in each group, you can have a different brand, a different look, and you can have different features. So you're literally contouring a different experience. And we can only change the features for you, but we don't charge for that, only because someone could by accident like check a box and like turn off workshops and it would be like off. It wouldn't break the system, but we kind of held off on that. But what we do allow you to do is you can change the name of all these features and it will literally permeate throughout the entire site wherever that shows. So you literally can match the language of your own language or even in different groups. So you could call this sessions. It's not just an LMS, guys. I want to kind of like sort of extract the notion. We have all those features, but it's a very sort of blue sky different approach where it's contoured around engagement, like I said, and so we wanted to be able to match the needs. So if it's sessions, we have some folks that do like weekly coaching sessions, and they have like they have automatic, live videos with reflections and things of that nature after, and primer work. Or you can have workshops, which are deep certificate programs that might last 4 months, that you can have daisy chain courses where you have a full certificate at the end. So the idea is that you can change the names of things. We also
we see right now. Is this in the back end or is this the user end? Or
it's both.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually just teed me up for my next point, which is that we designed it. Thank you, Rebecca. We designed this unlike any other LMS, which is that typically when you go to edit or author something, you're making a massive state change. It's very awkward. You're not seeing what the end user is going to see. We felt like that was artificial and not visceral enough. So we designed it more like Wix or Squarespace, where literally as you're editing almost virtually everything on the site, you're literally feeling and experiencing, seeing exactly what the end user learner is going to see, other than you have like hot links to like one click, and we make things one click away. So it's super easy. For things like editing, you can clone a program that you've been working on for weeks or months in one click. You can invite people granularly. You could literally do competency-based assessment if you want to take it that far another day. You can create a rubric and do that human to human. You have dashboards. There's one of 4 different kinds of dashboards. So it's designed in such a way that you're literally viscerally seeing and experiencing what that end user is going to see, but you can kind of tap into things very, very quickly. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Jeremy, is there a way that that you can show us kind of the workshop, and then that we could probably get like a 7-day trial period to look at the resources to see how that looks like, if we just need to figure out to link it to our resource page, or we actually use this resource center? So the biggest things that we're looking at are the workshops and also connection between the participants.
Okay, great. So let me show.
I'm interested in, what does the application to be in a workshop look like? What does the experience of going through a workshop look like if it's live facilitated? And then what are our options for information gathering on the back end, as well as resource sharing and communications within a session with people? Because they move through cohorts of people. So it could be like weekly prompts and they stay in the same group.
Yep. You literally can break down larger cohorts into teams on the site, and then teams can be working together on like a full experience of multiple courses. Yep. So let's see. So I will, let me dive right in then, I think, to just kind of show you, because I can send you, there's a little bit more information. When most people come to GMCD, guys, they're using like 5 tools or more. It's very cumbersome. It's expensive. When they come to GMCD, we create an elegant way to do that. We have an enterprise level set of capabilities. You're going to see maybe a 1% today. But as you can see, everything is intended to be very easy and user friendly. So I would say I would put us humbly, what we hear from our clients, at the top of user experience, and so key. So Tiana, it's great you guys are here because that is like so critical to us. We have a mobile app as well. You're now looking at, let me just dive into like a program. I can share a video that's 3 minutes, by the way, of some more of the top salient advantages. And so I'll just move on into the actual nitty gritty. But you're now looking at what a program is. And this is one example. So you could create these themes, like sections in here that are just have these beautiful colors. It's, again, super easy little drop down of how to edit it. Everything is super easy, not clunky. And you can theme out, like, let's say you have kind of primer work here for the program. And then we actually use best practices of like color, like literal, like what is the color that draws people's eyes? Like what do we do such that people can be focused? So these other things, the accordions for these other sections are closed. Everywhere throughout the site, we've done the research, we've done the practice, we've like seen how people use things such that it's like intended to make it easier, focused around practice and the whole process. So in this case, you could then have your coaching call because we have live video baked in natively. We actually chose to use Zoom. It's the most stable and reliable platform. If you have a problem with security things that have come up recently, don't worry about that. I mean, I can talk to you about that on another thing. That's been a lot of media stuff. They're fine. It's people that are not using the protocol, to be honest with you. I mean, you probably know this. Okay, great. So we have extra layers where we automatically.
I
Sorry?
keep saying we're big fans of Zoom. I keep
Okay,
being
great.
like, why are other platforms trying to build something better? It works.
Yeah, no, it's great. And we have the top level capabilities you can do breakout sessions, whiteboarding, everything. Not only that, but we automatically rotate our Zoom channels for you. You do not use your own. It's for extra security. You can literally schedule a Zoom call, which I can show you now, or I could go through the student version first and then show you that. Maybe the learner version, you want to see the learner loop first. Okay. So this is just to show you again, like you asked earlier, like Rebecca, you're looking at one way to design a course where you can section things out. You're going to see the same exact experience as the learner, but you're not going to be able to edit. So now I can go in here and edit. The other neat thing that I think you guys will love, and I would encourage you, and we have some people that literally just start with resources, okay? I'm going to pop over there just for a second because Jose brought this up. This is one of the critical business drivers you just mentioned. Super easy, guys, super beautiful, clean way to have all your different resources. These are the types you can add. They're aligned to the content types in DreamCDO for your content blocks and courses, and they also are interoperable. You literally can use a Google Doc that you can toggle on to be editable as a piece of content in a resource and or in a course. You can have audio, file, image. You can just filter by these. You can add tags to every resource. So you can kind of cross-pollinate. We even have locations in the future when we're back together in person, hopefully. You can add locations where people are going to meet, which is cool. And you can search by keyword. This is intended always to be super clean and easy and beautiful and useful. So you can go into any resource as an end user and say, hey, I want to write a comment or say quick proxy thumbs up or thumbs down whether this is useful. Guys, all this stuff was asked for by multiple clients early on. So this resource bank has become the library of resources because it's all in DreamCDO for our clients. You do not have to have a separate Google Drive or a separate thing on your site. We may need to migrate that and transition that thoughtfully over time, y'all. But like I said, y'all, I lived in Atlanta for 4 years. You appreciate that. But it's a very powerful, simple to use feature that also works with courses. I want to pause there. I showed you the basics. When you think of resources, is this aligned to, obviously just showing you the top level, the kinds of ways you use resources, or is there a different way you think about that?
We use resources tied as like further learning. They're mostly links to external articles or sometimes extra worksheets or things like that, spreadsheets that correspond to each session. So for each session, we have like further reading essentially that then links over into.
Or like, like they may have homework that they need to go get, more stuff, more files out of it to work on learning about their customer and filling out the information there.
You can load all of that in DreamCDO on a course level if you want. That's probably Lana's shaking her. That's what you would do, right, guys? Because you're in person and you're having them go look for other things, but that all
it's kind of like on your own time. Here's further like.
So you could either have them find it, or you could have it live there, depending on how you want that flow to be. Depending if you want the agency to have them, the proxy for them to search and the training modality, and have it be a practice, or if you want to surface it for them. But if you want a place to hold other resources for the whole cohort, this is the spot. And the neat thing is, back in this program over here, if you notice, anytime you're adding a resource, we have this beautiful little button here. Again, it's one click away, where you could say, ooh, I want that to also live in the resource bank for everyone. You click one button, the hard drive, boom, it's interoperable and mirrored. If it's edited there, it's edited here. If it's edited here, it's edited there. You do not have to go back and forth. We make the usage very simple and easy. And so again, these are just ways that we think about things. I want to show you, when there's tall amounts of content, it's hard to sort. You can literally click this little button and you just move it like that. And it resorts it. I didn't resort it, but all these little ease of use things that we do. So I'm going to actually take this program now so you can see what it looks like as a learner. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of spice around using resources, obviously contextual to the course, and just a kind of a set of resources. I'd imagine with you guys, you'd have all your entrepreneurs have this resource bank of resources for everyone that they could go to at their leisure. But you'd have specific folks assigned to specific courses or specific teams going through the learning that is in that course and program. You can have public-facing videos at the top of the funnel even before people log in, just to entice them to log in so they can see this video before they even log in if you want. YouTube, Vimeo, TED loads in 3 seconds. You can also upload and record. No other platform I know of records like we do. All differences that I'm sharing with you now. Super important. Before you start the program, people, we saw this, like you can put how long any exercise or assignment takes. It's huge, guys, right? Like you see this program with these titles and like in almost any other LMS and you get paralyzed and so many people that's why completion rates, engagement so low in these other LMSs amongst other things that are unmotivating, isolating, and kind of depressing. But you just don't even know how long someone's going to take. So you just can't do it because you're so busy. If I know something's going to take 20, you may have something that's an hour, but like if I know something's going to take 20 minutes or 7 minutes, I can go in there and I can do it because I know how long it's going to take. This has shown huge, track this has shown huge levels of uplifts in engagement and course adherence and completion just from that kind of feature alone. So I'm going to start this workshop. I saw some shaking heads, so I guess you guys kind of see that. We do not want people to have to hunt and peck for content. If there's a video that's at the forefront of any program, it'll pop up automatically, so people don't have to like click 3 times to even find a video. So you could watch that video. I don't love this fact, but people requested that you could print in case you don't have access to a computer. It's actually great for equity purposes if people do not have the resources at home, if they're kind of in a cohort together and they don't have a computer access at home. We have, you could on your mobile device, you could access DreamSeeDo, or you could print any exercise and fill it out. And we have a way within each context to each exercise that you can suck back that artifact and work product, which is special to our platform, which I'll show you shortly. You also have tooltips everywhere, guys, just telling you how to use things when you hover over certain things. So we have all different kind of content types, which I showed you earlier in resources. It's mirrored in programs. What is also very unusual and unique and distinctive is that you guys asked about doing evaluations and surveys or write around answer quizzes. Sorry, my mom says I talk too fast. I'm trying to get through all this. You can do this contextually in any program. It's native, y'all. It's not like it's modeled after Google Forms, but like a lighter, cleaner version. It's in this step, right? It's in this exercise. So you literally can have your first exercise be a consent form, a self-evaluation, a quiz to take a delta where you bookend the entire thing. This is the beauty of doing this here versus in person, right? Like you could have people fill it out in person, kind of come back to DreamSeeDo because it's also blended. You could have them do an immersion in person in the future, do a reflection here on DreamSeeDo, which I'll show you in a moment. But this kind of thing is really powerful. Or you could do what we call standalone. So you literally never have to use SurveyMonkey, pay for that again if you're using that or Forms because it's within a course. Or you could have a separate standalone, just like, how did you feel about this whole experience kind of thing. However you might want to use marketing surveys or whatever, you can use in DreamSeeDo as well. You could literally click a button that says, notify me when anybody's completed this. You can edit all kinds of stuff, including a thank you message.
Jeremy and Liana, can you guys, as a recap email, can you guys send me what a dashboard would look like of those assessments, surveys? Send me what a dashboard would look like for the assessments, the data, the assessments, the questionnaires, and then also what the free form looks like, just because we are in that stage where we're going to have to rethink some of our engagement on our surveys. So if you can kind of just send me what that looks like, or just kind of do a small little demo so that I can show it to our marketing team and impact team so that they can see if this is actually a good fit or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm interested in what it looks like when the data that you just collected is aggregated.
Absolutely. So do we have different, I'm sorry?
How do you access it? Sorry, there's kids screaming downstairs. So.
It's okay. I will quickly switch groups and show you what it's like to switch groups. So you could see what it's like to go into a different group with different branding, with different features and feature names and such right now. Because this is more my cleaner demo group that I keep clean. This has more actual data in it. This is one small example. I'll just go and find a form to show you. We have lots of different dashboards, guys. This is one example. It's just for a form. We also have an engagement dashboard, which culminates 9 different ways you can engage on DreamSeeDo that you cannot on any other platform, where you have a matrix of weighted score of engagement, which is super powerful, which I can show you as well. But if I go into a form here, and there's a lot in here, so just bear with me because this is like a ton of past demos and stuff. So you would never have this much. I apologize, it's going slow. I think my daughter's on Zoom right now as well. It's like the new part of the new world. But we'll get through this loop as well once I show you this. Yep. She definitely has to be right now. My bandwidth is being totally. Okay, here we go. I just want to show you guys now. Let me see where there's like a bunch of responses here. You see standalone and courses, and here are the types. I just got to find something with responses. Sorry, there's a lot of like stuff that I just kind of kept adding something and it just created, hold on. I usually just have this pulled up. Here, well, here's a couple responses. It's fine. All right, just hopefully this is like, so here's the responses like one by one where you can just kind of see this is like a simple one, and then here are the results. This might not give you a good enough view.
Yeah, you can show it to us later. I mean, yeah, if you want to just show us like a simple version.
Yeah,
Like it just seems there's like a ton of components, and so I think as we get there, this is an important one for us. But we can discuss that later as we build on top of it.
I'll share a screenshot of a better one. I'm sorry I couldn't find one offhand. I usually don't go here in the first demo because that's very detailed. But I will show you what that looks like. Yeah, in a better version of that. That just was like null data, so it wasn't helping me. I went to the wrong place. But I'm going to go here and let me just make sure I get back to the other group. Yeah, but we have like bar graphs and pie charts and like all different visualizations, and you can also download everything and play with it yourself. But it's like different versions depending on the type because we have scale. You know, what might be helpful is to see the kind of fields that you can do. I'll quickly show you that because that, you know, give you a sense of like what you can do. So like in any kind of like, you know, worksheet or form, here are the different types you can do. So you have text, multiple choice. Each of them has their own things, scale, yes or no, number, date. You can actually take payment literally through Stripe. We have 4 different ways you can pay. Donation is and payment through a form field is one of them. So these are all the different types. We just happen to do a lot with scales when we do demos, but we have all these different types. And, you know, each of them has
would that be our Stripe account or your Stripe account that then you transition into our bank account?
Oh, it's automatically, you set up a Stripe account, it's through Stripe, and then it literally pipes automatically to you guys. Okay. And you literally can, we have memberships. You can charge monthly or yearly memberships. You can charge by course or program, and you can charge via form field, which it's very powerful. So we have all those different proxies for charging through our paywall. So I wanted to show you that. And Lana, if you remember, to remind me, I can show the sort of, you know, what the outtake looks like. So you guys, here's where it gets really powerful. For any exercise, and this is where you can make it very interactive asynchronously, you can literally put a prompt that could be, tell us a story of your past experience as an entrepreneur, share a story, share a reflection of how you're feeling right now, show a work product example of what you're doing, give us back a document of something you've done, take a picture of something you have, show us an image of something. We have 8 different ways people can respond. Image, audio, video, text, file, Google Doc. Literally, no other platform in the market does this. And this is what one pillar besides live video and a few other things that make us entirely different. You will not be able to do this anywhere else. And you literally is allowing you to create a prompt on any exercise and have an interstitial response from every single person that they do it on their own. They get an automated reminder, and it naturally feeds into that specific step, into 3 different dashboards, and into a learning feed, where it's very easy to see all of that in one place in various places. So obviously best practices are probably 1 or 2 to give proxy. Like usually it's like text, video, and maybe I'm done. Usually other platforms, all they allow you to do is watch a video and hit next or I'm done. There's no actual work product, an assignment response that you can give. Maybe it's a quiz. But we actually allow you to have all the kinds of work products that you would want people to do. So in this case, for instance, and it's intended for both practice, reflection, and shared learning if you want. So you can choose, and you can choose partly by making it either private or to a group. So if you have your team, you can make it to the cohorts or to the group such that it's shared in that group where people can learn and learn from each other, support each other in an asynchronous environment to every single exercise. Yeah. Or it could be just for practice and reflection where I'm just journaling, I'm just doing a video reflection that I can look back on. Guys, we know that for training, this is what makes training stick.
Yeah. So Jeremy, just to, like, I have couple of specific questions.
Sure.
And then I kind of want to maybe stop at 12:50 so that we can kind of talk about next steps and kind of what that looks like. So first, real quick on the platform, is there a way to, after each workshop or after each session, to send an automated email so that it will go out to the community, to the participants? Yep. So for example, after they finish a course, there's an email that goes out there, and then can we hold a template of like a template of emails that go out to the members that go through the process or to the sessions?
Yeah, we have a more intuitive process where it's actually baked into the course steps such that it's dynamic. You literally with any, I do think it's important to walk through the final phase of this just to show you what engagement looks like, unless you guys don't want to see it. Or I could send you a video, but it's pivotal to like what makes the platform special. Okay. But I can show you, Jose, what that looks like. It answers a lot of your earlier questions.
Yeah,
Quickly,
let's do that. Let's do that, and then let's go ahead and do that, and I have one more question, and I think we can
no
go from there.
problem. I will show you, because we should talk about modeling too, a little bit, pricing and stuff, just to get on the same page with that, at least top level. Very quickly, in any step, and when I go into the editor, to answer your prior question, again, here are all the content types. It mirrors what you saw earlier. The one thing I didn't show you was scheduling a live video, which I do think that you probably want to see since you do so much live. I'll quickly just do that. Let me just show you live video. Literally, this is how quickly you can schedule live video. You just choose a day. Actually, Zoom had some issues yesterday that we had to fix, so it should be working by now. 12:48 p.m. for 45 minutes. Did I do it too late? They might have redone their API again. Jesus. Sorry, guys. I got to talk to them. Oh, no, there it is. It's just my internet. Jesus, I almost had a heart attack. We literally spent 5 hours fixing something that Zoom updated and didn't tell us last night, but it's fixed. And we put in some extra logic. It's working. Basically, it should take 3 seconds, but my internet's running slow. So essentially what happens is when it goes live, you have a host button. You can record this to the cloud. It will go to a learning feed automatically into the step. And you can literally, it automatically rotates, and you can use every feature of Zoom. So like we would help you design using breakout rooms, and you can then have people doing exercises in Zoom at a meta level where this is literally in a step on Dreamseed Do. You'll see it in notifications on web and mobile, in your email. You one click and you're in from anywhere. So it's like baked in natively. We are the only platform, again, that does this. So like all the live stuff you do, you could schedule it ahead of time and you're good to go. And you use our Zoom accounts. We don't charge you extra for that. So I wanted to show you that really quickly. To your point earlier, if you want to send a reminder for any step, any exercise, this is how we do this. We found this is a much better way, just having a separate, again, not a siloed queue of emails. You could pick its natural language a day, a week, 2 days when the reminder goes out. And that means that if I finish today, I get it tomorrow. If Rebecca finishes it tomorrow, she gets it the next day. So it literally follows people dynamically, or you could pick a due date. And then you can put in a baked-in, and you have tooltips of telling you where this goes, a baked-in subject and email to any single exercise you want. We would not recommend you do it with every single one, but it's literally interstitial to that exercise where it says, great job on this, here's what you're gonna do next. It goes out and reminds you for social accountability to do that next step. And yeah.
And can you, so after they finish the course, can we, out of that database of all the users that have gone through it, can we email them from this platform, or will we have to take their database and convert it to something else?
No, you would be able to email them at the end. If you want to see everyone that's finished, you could go to a dashboard, or you could email that group or team through our messaging, because we have messaging, and we have one-click group or team messaging where you could just do a one-click and make an announcement. Or with Teams, you can have it such that people can talk back with each other. So that's one way to do it, and that goes to their email.
Okay,
so it's actually better because it's within our messaging that all automatically go, unless they turn their notification off, it would only go to their notification. But it's powerful because this subject for each email also pipes out to the notifications as well, which is really powerful. So that answers that question. Yeah. So go ahead. Yep.
I have a very detailed question. This is probably too detailed for this, but I'm curious. When you create a workshop and then you would clone the entire workshop for somebody else to do it at a later date, do you go in manually and change all those Zoom links with the new?
I mean, you have to, Rebecca. We can't. Yeah, I mean, we automatically push it by I think a week after you've done it, but we can't. There's no way to predictively. Yeah, that's the only thing you have to change. But it literally keeps
everything else the same.
The content, every setting. I mean, months of work will be cloned in one.
And then you just have to go back in and
that's it.
Zoom links.
You got it. I mean, the time savings is massive.
I'm trying to think of as you go to scale.
Oh yeah, you can't. We tried to think of ways to automate that, but there's no way to predict.
No. I wasn't asking for automation. I was just thinking through it. So that's helpful.
Yeah, that's all you'd have to change is what those dates are. Exactly. You got it. Yeah.
So Jeremy, so this is great, man. Obviously, what I'm getting is that, and I've been kind of chatting with Tiana and Rebecca on the back end. And so it seems this is a really intuitive tool. So basically the next two questions are, and obviously, if we move forward, obviously we know there's going to be a lot of collaboration. In your expertise, how long could we see, how long would it take to have this deployed? So basically ready for our sessions. for like our 10 session, 3 hour per week session, putting everything on there, how long will it take to build out the framework, put our content in there, and get everything ready to go?
For an initial what again? What would be the first
Like an
thing
initial run, like initial test. So our goal is to basically test this by the first week of April. So May, or I'm sorry, by first week of May. So
that would be
I was
hard
gonna say, April,
because that's in the past.
So May 1st or May 4th, kind of like in that area, like that's our goal. So at least start deploying or show people what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you guys have Tiana, at least, and Rebecca on the mix, kind of helping out. So if we can hold hands together, it depends on. It's like, you know, it's like the old idiom about construction, like price, time, and like quality. We're always going to be about quality, like, right? So let's put that aside. Then our prices are kind of fixed. As a small organization, we're not going to we're not going to ever increase our pricing for you guys, but we could do more time. So if you need more of our time, we flex our hours. It's just an hourly fee, so it's very straightforward. You would need to tell us how much of our time you need because we can co-build it with you. Lana could speak this a little further and very quickly, Lana, but we could get you up and running within a couple of, within several days with something like that, depending on how much you can work with us. I mean, we're very quick. I think the nuance comes in at a baseline level. You're going to have certain upticks anyway, automated reminders. But if you really want a nuanced testing, like engagement, like beyond just doing like certain response types, maybe like peer engagement stuff, we'd want a little more time to do that. I would suggest doing a baseline, taking a pulse on what that looks like, and then creating delta over time, because we really are big around intentional planning. But if you want a first cohort around a baseline, that's going to, I'll tell you right now, hands down, like, and I hope this sounds as humble as possible, it'll be 100 times better than what you'll get on Teachable. We are not as cheap as them. We are not the most expensive. We are not as cheap as them. We're somewhere in the middle, to be fair. I think from an ROI standpoint, it's not even close. We are a little more expensive than they are, but we can talk about that. We should talk about that, but it's not going to be a comparable experience. I didn't even get to show you.
That's fine. So to me, it's like, is it going to take 2 weeks but I like the phases. Like obviously there's a lot of things that we do that are very intricate into what we've done.
Totally.
And we didn't build it in 2 weeks either, right? It took us a year to build this whole thing out. So like, we understand that. And obviously going into virtual, there's going to be different things that we're going to have to test. And then also bringing in our old alumni, like there's just a ton of stuff that's going to have to happen. The first thing is I want to test the first module of just like the baseline, like you said. So that's helpful. So
it depends on if the content's created already too. Like that's a huge factor. Like, do you need to create videos or any content? Do we have content that's ready? So like if the content's ready and it's 10 modules and it's like a couple pieces of content each, Lana probably could spend like 15 to 20 hours maybe, like creating something like that over several days, is a guess. So we're not talking about a ton of time, and we could have you guys up and running easily by beginning of May. I think my guess is we could anyway, but I just don't, without, whether it's a week or 3 weeks, we'd have to see the
but that's a good, that's a good rough estimate. But
the idea is that we're doing it and holding hands together, Jose, versus you trying it on your own and figuring everything out. And we're also training you and helping you create a template. Yeah, exactly. No, totally. That's why we do this, man. It's like, why should you have to do everything yourself? You're new to a platform. It's like, it's so much more fun this way too, because we get to jam together, and then you can kind of do stuff on your own when you want and play. So hopefully that answered that question. I feel confident we can get you up by the beginning of May. I think it's important always to talk about pricing. That's
my last question.
Yeah, and then I can always show you guys more. I mean, as you could tell, I love showing more about the product because that's my baby. But like, I'm glad you paused me because you guys have to go in 5 minutes. But I can send you a couple follow-up videos just to see how that engagement loop finishes. It's like a 7-minute video. It's pretty fun with music behind it, though. You can quickly jam through it if you want to see what that looks like. But I think you guys probably saw enough, it sounds like, to get a sense of how we're different, hopefully. We didn't get to touch a lot of other stuff, but we could do that different time. But pricing, typically, guys, it is, we do shift usually at some point to a per user model. But it really depends on like how you guys model things. So what I was going to ask is like, are you charging people by user? Do you have more of like, how do you do all of that? Like, what does your model look like? Can you do a per user model even, like from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, good question. So currently our current business model is more by community memberships, but we are moving to a per user model. So with this test, it will be a per user model.
Okay, because that's great, because then you can test appetite, which we can help you think through too if you want. We see all kinds of ways people charge. That's part of the strategy. It's not just like, hey, how should we do this course? It's like business model strategy too. I mean, we have that expertise. If you want, we see this stuff all the time. I mean, I've modeled this stuff out for 12 years in this kind of work. So we can help you think about that, because what will happen is you can charge X amount for the digital portion, which is really just the pass-through cost to us. That could be like $15, $20 per user,
exactly.
whatever it is. And then we're paid for, and that's about the range, just depending on the number of users.
That's what I was going to do, yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
So we could so listen, all I'll say is, if that's the case, we've never had an issue like figuring out a price that works for everybody. It's about setting safe boundaries so we all feel like we're growing together, and that will evolve over time, because as your numbers get up to that 4,000, that per user pricing is going to dip down, right? Because we're going to do that to make it better for you. What we can do in this pilot, if you're sure of what they can pay, we can do that initial per user model. If you're not sure, we could come up with like a fair like builder rate, Jose and guys, where it's like sort of like an amount per month where it's like you feel like you're going to get ROI or at least break even, and then we can shift. I'm happy to do that in this first month or so, just to get you guys going. I don't want you to feel like you have this pressure of trying to make this like initial amount in the beginning. That's how we work, but with the eye on getting into that per user model once we see how things go. So I'm totally cool to do that.
So what would it look like to do like a
typically an organization like your size? It's like anywhere between $200 to $300 a month at first, like, because we don't know, and then it gives you some room for a little bit of our time as well. Again, like you might only pay.
And what would
like,
it be? And then are there additional hours? Like, what is the additional per hour to use Lana's time, for example, if we need to?
So typically it's like, our typical rate is 150. We go down to 125 for small organizations. If it's a pressure point for you guys, we can go as low as 115, maybe a little lower. We just really want the honest sort of like, we're trying to just figure this out together. We don't have like a hard, we've gone lower before. I try to just respect my team's time. So it's not.
It just gives us an understanding of what we can do and what you guys can do.
And there's a lot we can build out ourselves too,
totally.
right?
It's like sometimes folks.
We're pretty good at this sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, sometimes you guys just like, hey, we need 5 or 10 hours. That's it. And it's like this amount, and that might not even be this. That it's whatever you use, guys. I mean, if we're never going to charge you for something you don't use. If you extend that and like in 7 months you use the last hour, you're going to get it. I'm never going to hopefully use it at some point. I'm not going to time block it to like a 1 month period kind of thing.
And then what would it be for, let's say, so the pilot will probably run maybe 40 users, maybe max, like 2 different cohorts. So the $200 sounds fine to get set up and everything. That's not bad at all. What would it be per user to say if we were to start with like 100, then 500, or like what are your brackets?
So we tend to start, and again, I want you guys to know, like, we don't have to figure this out at this moment because there's more nuance. We can get to a place where we feel comfortable with each other with what that number is, because there's a lot of flexibility there. We tend to start at an organization your size, which is a little smaller team, because I know budget is a consideration for us clearly, where if it's at the lower end of like the 100 to 500 marker is obviously a higher tier per year. That's per year. That's somewhere between $36 and $50 per user per year. Okay. And it can be now, and at 4,000, it's going to be closer to like, it's not in front of me, but it's closer to like, I think it goes down to all the way down to like $20 or something or two. So it really starts to nosedive, and it's per year, guys. It's not per month. Right. So it's starting to work out to like, it eventually gets to be like $1.50 per user per month kind of thing. As you scale up to the thousands of users.
What about if we were to do per course, like it's a month or 3 month course, we would just tack that onto that course? Could we say it's like a $25 flat fee, and then Co.STARTERS takes on the remaining basically, or could we do something? We can,
if you want to come up with a different kind of model, because you can charge by course, we can think about that in the beginning. If you feel like, I think the idea is that you figure out, hey, we can charge each person. Well, if you're charging each person $50
like right now, like, so I mean, this is where we're stuck, right? So like when I said we want to move to the per user, we don't have the tools right now to do a monthly subscription model. We want to get there.
So we could listen, we could totally work with you guys to where we transition to that in the next 6 months. If you can't physically do it right now, I just have I can't.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah. Right now, I couldn't figure.
I'm okay. I'm okay with Co.STARTERS. I'm okay with Co.STARTERS. You telling me, hey, this is what your monthly rate's going to be, and then this is what the billable hours is going to be for users for the next 6 months, or even to a year. And if it's $200 a month, fine, whatever it is, what it is, until we get to a certain number, you say, okay, up to these.
So what we would do then is we would ask that you guys charge in the system, and we can tack on a small additional administrative fee for now, such that we're at least growing together. You know, maybe it's like 10% or
Exactly
something.
right. Yeah. So that's where
Something
we
like
can do
that, where
the course
and
fee.
you charge,
Yeah.
but we don't like force people to do that. We just we create trust where we say because you guys technically could charge outside the system. We wouldn't tell you not to, but it would not behoove the relationship.
No, but yeah,
So
but here's the thing. Yeah, but a lot of people do it to where they charge it's like a credit card fee, right? You got to pay for it because somebody's doing it on the back end, right?
Yeah.
So like to me, like that makes sense. So that's just not a problem. We'll take on the Stripe fees. That's just part of what we do. But like, for example, me charging a $25 surcharge or course fee, 20 goes to you, $5 for us for the credit card, which covers that. It helps me on my long run to where I don't have to pay that $5, right? And so as we figure out saying, hey, we can meet Jeremy or whoever I need to meet in your team and say like, hey, so here's how much we're collecting. Here's what we're going to look to collect. Let's do the numbers real quick. We'll do 4,000 people here in a year. Does this $20 per course fee make sense? And then if we figure out how to do this membership model, then we can transition them from course to membership, because not everybody's going to be a member. And like for us, out of the people that go through a course, they're not all going to transition to become subscription model.
Totally.
Yeah. And then we can
might be a blend too. We might keep the course model and we could do both.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly, right.
We could do both.
This is exciting.
We're flexible. I love this. It's actually a fun part of it. It just takes obviously deeper. You already kind of carved it out, honestly, but without like the specific numbers. So I listen, as if we go into that together, there's a little bit of skin in the game, like we talked about, like a monthly fee and some of our time, and that works. And then we can, like you said, do that per course to start, and then go to the per user model. Maybe it's a blend. Maybe 2,000 go to the membership and 2,000 are just course. I'm fine with that, and we can just take tabs together, man. We do this kind of thing. Totally cool to do it. I think we're in it to then win it together. It's kind of turn a cliche, but we can totally do that. I think we should just, if we were to work together, just kind of sit down and figure that out a little bit before you kind of hop into like the people coming in, which gives us a few weeks.
Yep.
And that sounds like totally groovy to me, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be me and you. That's you and me or whoever.
Yeah, me and you. I would tend to do that. I have someone else, but I'll do that with you directly. And that is great, guys. I know you all have to go.
You gotta get some rest too, man. I tell my CEO to get some rest, so you can't do everything.
Well, I'm running a lot right now because I really want to be there for people at these, especially these beginning moments. And then I kind of fall back a little bit. I will still be here to support you guys with modeling conversations. Lana will be your go-to probably for the heading up the sort of strategy sessions, and someone else might come in to help, like Ben or something. But she kind of heads it. I could imagine you guys working directly together. Yeah. But look, this sounds great. I think we figured out, sort of like a basic framework to get started. If you guys have follow-up questions, let me know. And then just what do you think would be next steps, guys, in terms of like your timeline and stuff?
I'm going to chat with the team here after this call, and then just give us a day to think it over, just to make sure that this is the right decision. That, obviously I get motivated by good speakers and motivated by passion. So I would say right now, it looks like it's what we need, but we may have more questions. I like the partnership, but it also scares me a little bit. Don't take that the wrong way. It's just, it's not streamlined. And for me, it's like, can it be streamlined so there's no issues in the future, right? And so, but that's just the way I think. That's nothing against your company or you or anything like that. So that's just kind of like my initial,
Yeah, and one thing I'll comment on that is that's only based on your need, Jose. So we have lots of automated systems in terms of, if I'm hearing you correctly, the streamlining piece is that you can we have a robust knowledge base on Zendesk. We have hundreds of.
It was more on the financing side of things.
Oh, okay. Well, that's to try to create flexibility. Like if you want to just start rote, like on any other platform, you could, and we could just send you a plan. You could do it on your own. We try to create it such that you can grow into that. So listen, I hear you. I think it is a different model. And I think that you'll find that based on what I'm getting the vibe from you guys is that it'll be enjoyable and it'll help you. Listen,
you guys are very, there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of, we have the same ethos for what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
and
man.
You're saying all the right words and all the right things, and
we literally do. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just the way I'm looking at this is more like a partnership, right? And we're both providing what we need, and I can see you guys grow with us, and so I'm super excited. I'm so excited that I got to I didn't.
Me too, bro. I'm so happy we met. I mean, timing is weird sometimes. It really is. It's unbelievable and sort of kismet. We actually do these things. Another time we could talk about it, called ethos exercises, where our finance guy, who's like we call him our business shaman too. He runs these ethos exercises modeled after the Google X design sprint, where we map our strategy every 6 months to our values and ideology. Just to give you a sense of like how much we care about that stuff. It's so dope.
All over that.
We could literally, if you guys ever want to do that, he's amazing, but that's a whole other conversation.
They want to learn to do that.
Listen, it's a combo of a lot of, heart and love, and we really care. We want you guys to do awesome work, and we create flexibility for you. And I think our goal would be to sort of like start off with a framework of time, Jose, where we give ourselves enough chance to win together. Usually it's like, at a minimum, we try for like a 6-month relationship to start. We don't have to do that. And it could start with that first pilot, but at least with the model you talked about, so we could kind of like check in with each other each quarter. It's up to you. You don't have to do that. You could do it monthly, but I just share that because it allows us to give us time to work together. Yeah. That's one last thing I want to share, but it's totally up to you. And we'd love to work together. I also get a great vibe from y'all. And obviously through a proxy of trust, through someone else on the platform. And listen, no platform is perfect. We had a bug yesterday because Zoom deployed something they didn't tell us because they're quickly deploying we have Zoom baked in, and I'm sitting there with my girls, my wife, and I'm like kind of freaking out because I just get that way. And my co-founder was out on a hike, and he actually came. He had to come. My other two developers were not accessible because it was a Sunday, it was Easter, and he came back and rocked it out. And we did it together, and it took us an hour, and we cleaned it up and got it fixed. And I thought it was still broken again earlier, but it was just Anyway, so just
I'll follow up with you here. Give us a day or two to think about it, but I'll follow up with you on Wednesday. Either way, right? Like whichever way we go. But right now, I would say it's looking positive. I'm really excited, and so it's just I'm learning not to. This is just personally for me. I'm learning not to jump the gun and really get some ideas and get some thoughts and making sure that we're
think about it, guys. I want you all to think about it. I'd love to hear Rebecca. I'd love to hear Tiana your feedback. You guys had thoughts.
And it's okay to say no to this. I'm a click and learn type person. Like I can't watch something and learn. I've got to like go in there and mess with it and figure it out. Do you guys do test accounts, or like is there a test account to go in and just click around without breaking anything?
We definitely do. Did you want to be able to like kind of create some things too?
Yeah, or just see like how you would go about creating it. I don't even have to click save. I do really well by like figuring out what's in there, and it helps me figure out how I would design something to work.
No problem.
Which would be really helpful to be right now as I'm in the middle of like designing.
Absolutely. I will give you a free, I'll give you like a trial to figure it out, at least over the next couple of days, so you guys can like,
That'd be awesome.
So as you make your decision, you can play. I'll even bake in, some of the kind of the price that we just talked about, Jose, so that's already in there. So if you wanted to upgrade and just move forward, like you're good to go. Guys, if anything comes up that's a sort of a question mark, please reach out to me. Like let us know so we can talk about it, because this does feel very aligned to what we do. We've seen tons of success for folks that do things in this way. I want you guys obviously to do your due diligence and think it over, because I jumped too, Jose, but this does feel aligned, and I think that we'd have a really great relationship. But if there's anything, any questions, because we didn't get to cover everything, obviously, let me know. I'm here to help you guys. So is Lana. I'll get you set up. I like to show things, Rebecca, as a last thought, just because the interaction you cannot feel until you're actually in it. But if you want to play, I'm the same way.
That's just how I learn.
No, me too. I love clicking around. I just started using Loom, and I just love like messing with stuff. I'll give you guys an account that you can play with Rebecca. And if
you want to put it under an email address, using accounts@costarters.co is one that will allow all of us to have access.
Perfect.
So like when it sends you the code, it doesn't get stuck in somebody's inbox.
But no, like obviously if you're in it at the same time editing the same thing, we're not like Google Docs.
No.
I mean, it's not to that level. I mean, we have robust editing, but yeah, you could potentially overwrite in that kind of scenario when you're sharing an account. But otherwise you should be fine.
Just for us playing around in it.
Yeah, when you have different accounts here, it's fine. Yeah, you can play with that. This has been awesome, guys. I think we covered a ton. Tiana, any last? Yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I had something, but I forgot it. But no, this looks great. It has so many more. It definitely would be a little bit heavier lift to build or to get our stuff in there initially. But again, that's digital first instead of trying to just make something work. So I'm pretty excited about.
And Tiana, I would say it's actually easier than, I didn't show you how to build a course. It's just more to do. It's more you can do. More features to like.
Yeah, I should correct it myself. It's not more to do overall. It's just be doing it here instead of InDesign. So
Oh, got it.
From
Okay.
a production standpoint. So yeah, it reminds me of building courses for my college teaching, but with way more functionality than Canvas, which made me crazy. So.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. We could talk about them another time. Anyway, I've had conversations with them directly.
Yeah. So
This
Jeremy,
has
I'm
been
gonna
awesome,
I'm
guys.
gonna stop us here. Just I'm that person. I want to talk to the team real quick. And so, but thank you so much, man. We'll be in touch. I love it, guys. This is kindred spirit. That's what I was looking for. We're kindred spirits
For
here.
sure,
So,
guys. So good to meet you all. It was great.
yeah, great.
Rebecca, I'll hook you guys up, and
We'll
look forward to
send you
hearing
the
from you.
recording.
Yeah, we'll send you
Awesome,
the
yeah.
recording too. So good to meet you
Great.
guys. Be good. We'll talk
Great.
soon.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
take
you.
care, guys.
Appreciate it.
Really
Bye.
enjoyed it. Okay, Lana, you want to stop the recording and just hold and we can chat for a minute too? Cool.